Hey guys, okay, we're gonna put the winter tires on this Wacker Neuson WL32 today. It's got the summer or turf tires on it right now. So we'll start with the back because it's a little bit more difficult just because you have to jack up each side. The front you can do with the loader arms to lift up the whole front. So let's get to it. Okay, so I just got the one side jacked up there with bottle jack under the axle, and then I got this jack stand here for support under a pretty beefy part of the frame. So I got a little bit, I let it down a little bit onto the jack stand. There's a little bit still on the bottle jack, so we're good and safe. And we can start taking the wheels off. Okay, I got a 24mm socket here, 10-inch extension, Milwaukee Fuel impact. There's these washers on here, which you'll see when I take the tire off. We'll make sure those go back in. Okay, so before I go too far with the installation, just for anybody that wants to know wheel direction, lug nut torque, and pressures for tires on these machines, we're just going to talk about that now. So I've got the 4 winter tires set up in the direction that they're going to be rolling on the machine. So this would be the back, this is the front. These are non-directional tires per se. But I put them in this direction, so hopefully you guys can see how they're laid out there. Basically, like if these were like arrows, you can see the arrows pointing forward. And just my reasoning for that is I just looked at I look at my ATV tires and different tires on vehicles, and generally to evacuate water and snow and ice, they are put in this direction, and basically the stuff runs out this way as it's rotating. So hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, they're not directional, but if you had to pick a direction, this is the direction I put them in. The turf tires are non-directional as well, and they have pretty much a very like a plain pattern, so they can go any way you like. So for pressures, just look at the chart here. So for tire pressures, so the ones we're putting on today are the closest to these 10 16.5 skid steer tires, and they are running at 61 psi. And then the turf tires that I have on there are the 31 15 15s, 15.5 15s, and they are these ones here, 2.5 bar, 36 psi is what I run them at. So quite a bit lower pressure, but they also have a lot more contact area. So lug nut torque, one more thing to discuss. So I usually torque the lug nuts on this machine to 145 foot-pounds based on the fact that we have an M16. These are screws or bolts, but these are M16 bolts or nuts. And if you see 8.8 grade here, 143.82 foot-pounds. How you can figure out the grade of any metric nut is, hopefully you can see this here. If you go, okay, so you'll see there's a dot. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a dot right there on that little thing there. So if you count the faces and points from the dot in a clockwise motion or clockwise direction, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. You'll see at 8 on this particular nut, there's a little hash mark or a little line. That's how you know it's a grade 8 nut that will work with a grade 8.8 screw. And that's 143.82 foot-pounds. But like I said, we're going to do 145 because that's generally the case. So let's get this tire on and then we'll move to the rest. So we'll just clean this out a bit. Just like to put a little bit of oil on everything, keep it from rusting because we're going to be plowing snow with this and salt and everything. And it helps torque the nuts to spec better. Okay, that's not probably to spec, but it's good enough to let the machine down. Let's do that. Okay, and then you might be wondering about this fender. So the back fenders are adjustable. So in order to adjust them, you just need a 6mm Allen wrench, 13mm socket. Loosen that. Basically just loosens this band. Put it into a sort of a nice position where it's going to cover any splashing, but that, you know, will allow you to go into tight spaces without hitting it. So that looks pretty good. So I'll tighten that down. There we go. Torquing it down, 145 foot-pounds. Okay, so I just got a block there lifting up the front. And the reason it tips like that, because it pivots in the middle, so you gotta do one wheel at a time. Pivots right there. Don't know what's going on with this thing. It goes in forward fine, but when I put it in reverse on the undo mode, it seems like there's no power. It's got a hot battery, fully charged. This was outside all night in about -12, but I don't think that should affect it. And I just heated it up a little bit and it doesn't make a difference. So we'll be doing a review on that pretty soon. Fully charged. See, it works in forward fine. Put it on 2. We'll see if it takes them off better on the other side. I'm going to move this jack stand. And I'm going to move this block over to the left a little bit more so it picks up the other side.